about to be a start of a new day. Earthy Urban Chic checking in. Hope y'all enjoyed and had a safe 420. Shouts out to Jimmy John's for having a 420 meal special. Came through to my app and I took advantage of it. So I had the Dream Rotation meal and I picked the Cheech Dream Rotation meal, which included a cereal and milk Rice Krispie treat bar, a bag of chips, and a nice hefty toasty sub. I chose the Cheech meal because it was an Italian nightclub, I think, toasted sub, which was the ham, the salami, the provolone cheese, so I added cucumbers, lettuce, extra onions, oil and vinegar, oregano, and toasted it. So it was buy one get one. So I had two. I had one earlier today, and then I had the second one for my late night dinner snack. Because earlier I had at the restaurant with my late lunch, early dinner slash, because it was like around 5 o'clock when I had the first meal. And I had sweet tea. So fast forward, the late night was 6 hours later, six and a half hours later, because it's about to be midnight in a few minutes. And so this is the last thing I had left. So I had two meals, so this will be my second one. The first chips was barbecue, and what I had for the late night was the salt and vinegar chips. So yeah, these are really good. I don't know if this is going to be a limited thing or if this is going to be added to their new desserts menu. So I've been digging these lately. Their brownies are pretty good, and sometimes they'll have specialty cookies. But these are real cool. So I'm just sitting here thinking, that new moon energy that came in on Friday, Saturday, that was a very intense energy, because it did shift, put you in a state of shift, a state of shift in your consciousness and your thinking and thought processing. And so it's got me in a state of shift, expansion. But oftentimes when we hear or speak about expansion, we rarely hear, at least I rarely hear of individuals speaking on expansion beyond the earthly realm. It's very far and few and in between do I hear individuals speak about expansion in a sense of placement in the universe, because oftentimes I know from my experience with the people in the community here to the North Americas, Earthy Urban Chic, I'm checking in from North Texas, from the Dallas-Fort Worth metropolitan area. It's known as the DF Dub Metroplex. So that's where I'm checking in. I never know where my videos are gonna go because this is the internet. So the internet goes around the globe. So you could be seeing me from Africa or India, from Europe. I don't know, but that's where I'm checking in. So oftentimes when I speak, I'm speaking to my indigenous people here to the North America, specifically the intercontinental United States, the territory formerly known as the United States of America. That's pretty much where my energetic frequency resonates. And so rarely do I have an opportunity to speak with people who, when expressing expansion outside of current dimension, or what they might be in understanding of a dimension. So I don't really ever have an opportunity to speak to other individuals who are in energetic frequency in a multi-dimensional state, or understanding universal placement or placement within the universe, within a galaxy or galaxies beyond. And I think that has a lot to do with the brainwashing through the programming, through the indoctrination of going through the systematic social constructs that play on the psycho-spiritual elements of the energy, of the frequency of your energetics, by going to public schools. It keeps children, as they progress, dummied down, especially the indigenous community. So unless you have someone in your immediate family, or you are blessed to maintain that connection to source beyond the 7-year-old mark, it kind of like get lost in translation, in the chaos and the confusion that goes on within our society, in the immediate energetic frequencies that hover over our communities. So oftentimes when speaking on such subject matter, or someone could, or possibly 99.9% of the time is probably perceived as crazy. It's what the community likes to quickly be so to say, because they don't understand. Anytime they don't understand something, anytime something goes over their understanding, so it's very rare, because a lot of people are unconsciously, energetically bound to the planet. And so that's what I be talking about. Whom the sun sets free is free indeed. And when you go deeper into your relationship with source energy, with the Most High, with God, with your higher self, when you're able to tap in beyond the veil, to guardian angels, ascended masters, ancestors, that type of energy, then you can begin to flow more freely in an energetic frequency of freedom that's beyond the earth experience, like and beyond the linear timeline experience. All that has to do with a lot of the programming and the brainwashing. So the more time that you spend alone, set apart, in relationship with God, Spend a lot of time outside in nature and drinking water and trying to maintain a quote unquote healthy, balanced lifestyle as possible. Um, this don't help, but it's one of those little vices, you know. Don't judge me. Earlier, but she been brought up from a long way. I wasn't always saved. I wasn't always conscious to walk in the light of the righteousness of Christ. But I'm not here to talk about that right now. I'm more so focused on coming out of the weekend into this new week in retrospect of the experience of the energy that was in the atmosphere and what resonated with me after. So these are the after effects, and this is what's got my thought process. Because there was some rituals, you know, the setting the intentions and the stepping into new identities that or the opportunity to step into a new identity based upon the energy that was permeating in the atmosphere. So what does that look like in a new life or a shift in timeline? What does that mean? What does that look like? What does that feel like? So it feels like like expansion, but expansion outside of the earthly realm, outside of the earthly existence, wanting curiosity to tap into a capacity for understanding and experiencing individuality, identity, and placement within the galaxy, within the universe, in a multi-dimensional state, a greater capacity to experience in relation to source energy. That's what it's looking like and feeling like for me. And I'm just wondering, and like, is anybody else in that same type of frequency, wanting to expand outside of the norm, the quote unquote, what we would consider norm, the norm? Because for a lot of individuals, they don't know any better. That's all they know. But for some of us, we know that there is more. We know that there is a much more greater capacity for individual energetic signature that expands beyond the immediate existence based on what we're experiencing, based on the energy shift and shifts that have been taking place up to this point and that are going to continue to take place. So I'm just like, where's everybody at? Because I'm not seeing other people speak on their experiences. Or maybe people don't want to speak on their experiences. Maybe they holding it to themselves, and I can respect that. I don't know. But if anybody else is experiencing this, please come forward. Or I'm calling forth the energy or the frequency of other individuals to make a connection so the people can testify or share their testimony on expansion and what that looks like in energetic shifts beyond the norm of just the. Basically, let me talk to people who are free, the ones that truly are free indeed. Let's just start there. Where y'all at? Where the free folks at? Holla back. Earthy Air Machine signing out. Y'all stay up.